Oh, hey guys.
Yes, it's working. Sweet.
Uh, that page doesn't show anything for some reason. It's like, oh, he's in it, but we're not going to tell you how to get in there, too.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to figure this out.
Yeah, that magic link helps get there.
Okay, cool.
Ah,
Got a
So yeah, I don't
Drupal shirt on.
know. I don't know how this is going to end up on YouTube. It's probably going to have a really crappy beginning, but oh well.
Drupal shirt.
Yeah, my video's not working, is it?
Nope.
Is it just my picture?
yeah,
Just a picture?
yeah, it's just a picture.
Okay, that's fine. I am wearing a Drupal shirt for the record.
I just had laundry day today.
Well, I guess I'll just turn my camera off. That'll make it easier. If it's not going to show me anyway. So I added the agenda to the little Google Drive thingy on the left, the little triangle deal.
Opening, downloading app, something.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Alright, let me just get my coffee because it's like 1 o'clock here. So,
Yeah.
I just realized I had the other window open in the side, and I was hearing my own voice and everybody talking at the same time.
Oh, the
'Cause it's live.
the broadcast one?
Yeah, so it's delayed, so
Right.
you're hearing like about 2 or 3 minutes behind.
Oh, really?
Yep.
In case we do anything obscene?
Yep, just in case.
Sweet.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I'm going to try and find this link as well, just so that...
You hook up the link on Google Drive on the...
It's there, right? The agenda's there?
Well, it's,
Okay,
it's
cool.
not in the Hangout, I don't think.
Really? I added it.
Hold on.
That's awkward.
I have to press the button first.
Okay.
Loading. There it is. Yeah, it's there.
Okay, cool. So, let's see. Anonymous camel. Okay, I gotta get the chat up too, so I'm just gonna paste a link into the chat there. I don't really follow Drupal Planet religiously, but I happened to see this blog post.
Yep.
It's open sourcery, and I believe they're based out of Portland.
Yep.
But anyway, there's 3 of their developers are. It says
Oh, yeah,
3 of
they're
their
working on
developers.
Twigs. Yeah, yeah. And Paul and Maria. That's great.
Yeah. So, and that's going to be basically a week from today.
Okay.
So I kind of Chris Wright, the person who wrote this blog post, like I just sent him an email through his D.O contact form, and I just kind of gave him some links and resources and stuff, and I said, you know, I'll probably be in IRC, and if people need help, and
that's on Thursday, so we'll have this meeting too, I guess.
that's true as well. Yeah, I didn't really think about that, but that's a very good point. Yeah.
that's clever planning.
Yeah.
It
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I just want to mention that. I think that's really cool, and in their list, like that's the most people is 3. So woo, go Twig.
Yeah. That's a dedicated teams that are working on specific projects, which is pretty cool. And are you guys doing something with your work too on that, or no?
Well, not on Thursday, but on 25th and 26th, like on that weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I'm pretty much going to be like at the office all weekend, and we've been joking about like having a sleepover and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're doing Thursday or Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's unfortunately that weekend I have my daughter, so that's my only thing is I don't geek out when I have her. So it's not completely true because she's actually right behind me here sleeping. but not over a whole weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna be in daddy mode.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can kind of zoom through this. I can take out the part about technical difficulties. So yeah, last week we kind of went through and I guess basically like kind of making a habit of checking our criticals and majors, because I haven't really been doing it like on a consistent basis. I do it when I remember, but I kind of like to have these links here. So I did kind of check them earlier today, and there's no new ones, no surprises or anything, so that's all good. I did spend a little bit of time over the last week looking at prepare, trying to see if we can basically solve that suggestions bug without having prepare, but I think we still need prepare because it's not just a rename, it's making it into an actual hook, and also, more importantly, it's not tied to the theme registry, because currently when you're running through and rendering stuff, the list of pre-process functions is coming from the theme registry. So in order to be able to add like hook pre-process node front, we would need to kind of either jam that in after or get it right in the registry, and we can't really do it in the registry because then you don't have the hook theme suggestions wouldn't really work, because that's sort of like done on the fly, right? So, or the alter hook is anyway.
Okay.
Well, they both are. So anyway, so we're still have to do hook theme prepare. I don't know. I might just jump back into it because the other issues that I've been working on are kind of ready for review now. So, and actually I should probably add them here so we can at least have them kind of marked that they need review. There's one follow-up to hook theme suggestions, and then actually there's two follow-ups to hook theme suggestions. That it would be nice to get those reviewed. So we can kind of move on. So I'll just add that.
That one so that it would get the bug fixed in hook theme suggestions. So that's the follow-ups, right?
Sorry?
So what you split it out so that the bug is the thing you split out so that it'll get fixed first without.
Well, yeah, I was going to. That was the idea, but I don't think we can really. So I think we need to kind of move forward and just think about the best way to do hook theme prepare. I still think the prepare alter is pretty straightforward, but the prepare, I don't think the API is going to match exactly with form API, because you're still not, in the first one, you're still basically altering. You're not building a whole new thing like a form array or something. So I think it's going to be like the function signatures, like the function signatures of prepare and prepare alter, I think are going to have to be basically the same. So yeah. But
I spent a lot of time yesterday working on trying to get autocomplete turned on, and ripping out
autoscape, yeah.
Autoscape, sorry.
Yeah.
And I killed off a bunch of functions and a bunch of classes, Twig templates, Twig references, all these different classes. I just deleted them, and it was really interesting because
it still worked.
Yeah, yes, it did actually, kind of. The tricky thing is there's this node visitor thing, and it does most of the magic.
Yeah.
And I left that in there, and I just tweaked it. I'm not totally sure exactly. I know how it works. I just don't know how things work. But it's interesting how the plugin system works. So if you want to add an extension to Twig, you can tell it what you give it a priority. The class actually has a priority on it.
Right. Okay.
And that priority gives you the ability to manipulate it. So what we did actually was we put the node visitors before the two ones that come, the escaper, for example, the Twig escaper. So it's -1 and escaper's at 0.
I gotcha, yeah.
And when I turn on escaper, the node visitors, the escaper doesn't work because we have this Twig reference crap. So that's where I was finding bugs and stuff. But anyways, the idea is, would that help at all with like suggestions to be able to like decide when you're creating that suggestion that it's priority, or does that just complicate it more?
I think we have.
Kind of like weight, I guess.
Yeah, I think we probably want to just keep module weight and like, well, extension weight. No, yeah, module weight, and then basically your theme, like cascade. So like your base theme would run first, then your sub theme, that kind of thing.
Okay, so that hierarchy there.
I think so, yeah.
I was just curious to make sure that like that's thought through for which suggestion gets picked up first, or
yeah, it's basically like the hook theme suggestions is designed to be for the module that's declaring the theme hook, and eventually it should be able to work with themes as well. And then the alter is for basically anything else.
Yeah, so you can take the array and
one of the and then one of the follow-ups is probably the most important follow-up in my opinion is to add hook theme suggestions alter, which is like the generic alter hook, which kind of in all the discussion of the original issue kind of got missed at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we need that to get reviewed. I'm not sure. It was.
And are all just devil's advocate? Are these all necessary? Do we need to alter these suggestions?
Yes.
Like that.
Well, for contrib, anyway, like it's. Yeah, I think they're. Yeah. Like I think the API for suggestions, once we get the generic hook in, is pretty good in my opinion, and will help us a lot to basically to work towards consolidating a lot better.
Okay.
So maybe not necessarily even in core, but it'll help like contrib modules and stuff to not have to make all their own custom theme functions and templates, in my opinion. But we'll see how that pans out.
So you can add, so you define a new version of a field or whatever, and you want to give it a different type of suggestion, so that you could potentially put a wrapper around it or something.
Yeah, something like that. You can come up with lots of examples, but yeah, those are pretty straightforward follow-ups, but just so we have them there.
So I never really use suggestions that much, so that's why.
Oh yeah, me neither. Yeah. So hook theme prepare. As I was kind of saying, I'll likely jump into that. I know Mark is assigned to it, but I know he's quite busy. So I'll probably just jump in and see what I can do to move that one forward, because that is sort of still blocking a lot of our consolidation stuff.
Okay.
And then I'm kind of skipping over the core, like migrating preprocess to prepare, and then update our documentation to make sense. The update our documentation to make more sense is probably not a priority issue in my opinion. It's just talking about renaming theme hooks to template suggestions. Yeah, that sort of needs more discussion, and it's postponed anyway. So I think I maybe just take that out for now.
Okay.
Rename theme to underscore theme and make it internal. I don't know if anyone's seen, but Drupal add.js and Drupal add CSS are now prefixed with an underscore. No, they're still there, but they're prefixed with an underscore, and they're supposed to be for internal. Well, they are for internal use only. If you use them, your stuff will break.
Yeah, they want you to use the attached.
Yeah, because as far as I understand, the end goal is actually to remove those functions, I haven't been following that closely, but I think the end goal is to use something like ascetic to pull those things in.
That's part of it. The main end goal is to make sure that things are cacheable, and
Oh yeah.
calling functions inside of your in preprocess is making blocks specifically not cacheable.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Thank you. I forgot about that part, but yeah, that is the real end goal.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the
So
reason why they're doing it, but I'm sure the other one's just as warranted. You can.
yeah, it's yeah, you get wins in both sides. So Jessie Beach opened this issue, and I've been thinking about this not for a long time, but recently. So I'm really glad that she opened it. Um, and I don't know, it's green. It needs reviews. If anyone wants to post on that issue, just sort of in support of it, I posted the related meta to don't call theme outside of Drupal render. So I think I think basically I think it's pretty safe to say that we're in support of that issue because we don't
Oh
want
yeah,
it
we've been
to be
replacing
called.
and Drupal render and anything that basically makes a string out of a renderable array out of the twigs as much as we can.
Yeah, exactly.
If we don't do that, we're going to not be able to basically turn that escaping thing on because I'm already having a hard time figuring out what is a safe string and what's not a safe string. And it's coming
Okay.
through as a string already, then I have no way of automatically turning it into like, this is safe. I have to say, oh, it's a string, and you have to tell me whether it's safe in the template, so you have to type raw on it.
Okay. So just
yeah.
being consistent in that way would help us towards auto escape. That's really good to know.
I'm going to write that on there so that, yeah, for my
Sure, yeah.
in support.
And then it also looks like we have support for killing show and then having the whatever it is without or exclude filter. Without, I guess. Yeah, without is what people like.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of in for that too. Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad somebody's spoken up for that. And yeah, Chicks jumped on there and he's helping me out with something similar. The thing that was related to that, or maybe it was that one. I think he RTBC'd that one actually.
Which one?
He RTBC'd one of my thing.
Oh, a different issue?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. It's related though.
Yeah. So yeah, I think what do we need there? Just reviews? Oh yeah, you said you were going to split out the cleanup, right? The code style stuff.
Yeah, and there's it needs test on there. I don't know what that's going to entail, but I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard.
Okay, yeah, we can. No, yeah. I mean, I can help with that if you want, or you can, or I can not. It's up to you.
I can stab at it, and you tell me what I'm supposed to go or where I'm supposed to put it.
Okay, cool.
I trying to find the actual issue that he RTPC'd, but I think it's related to these ones anyways.
Okay.
Something related to getting auto escape in there.
Cool. Okay, so that brings us to auto escape. So I know there's a few comments on here I haven't actually seen. So Joel, can you just give a quick update? I know you just were talking about it a minute ago.
Yeah, I was crying to people about this is hard.
Oh, it's right. It's not even this issue that we're linking to. Where is the issue? Here we go. Yeah, it's. I think someone already brought this up, but it's almost like do we need this meta?
Oh, I don't know about the meta.
Oh, the rely on Twig is normal. Okay, so that's okay, I guess. Okay, so it
was a crazy long night last night, so I can barely remember what I worked on. But I was.
If I'm lucky, you will pass install.
Oh yeah, that was my last try, and it did. Oh, so this install. Is like a. It did pass install. It just failed on login. So yeah, this drastic approach takes out. Oh, what he did actually. This is what he RTPC'd yesterday. Chicks RTPC'd converting Twig up to 1.5, 1.15.
Oh yes. I did see that. Yeah.
So.
Yep.
That's what he RTPC'd, and I'm happy that one's in there. And that will help this one a little bit, and it also will help just because it has a lot of bug fixes and stuff and makes things supposedly 20% faster if the auto-escape's on, I think. So that'll help a lot. And yeah, it will make the profiling on this not so horrid once we actually get something working. But I tried really hard to figure out what can I do to make this work, and part of the problem is because Twig references in there. Twig reference causes us to have a whole bunch of classes that we've made Drupal-specific classes that help get arrays and figure out whether or not this array or object is a renderable array, and wraps it and then puts a reference to it. And so we don't really need references. We don't really need this reference idea. I'm almost positive if we don't have show and hide. So show and hide is one of the reasons we have it, and there's also Twig render var or render var.
And have you determined whether attribute needs Twig reference?
I don't think it does, but I'll have to test that once I get a little bit closer.
Because it's different. It's not just like an array. It's an actual object. So
it's an object and has a toString method on it, and I don't think it needs a reference to it, but it might.
Right, because objects are basically, they're normally modified pretty much like by reference in a way, right? Like because you're it should be. Always like dealing with
So the way that Twig passes things around is the scary part, because it's doing this like it's looking at the actual individual nodes and then wrapping them in other objects and then passing them around. It's a little bit convoluted, but at the same time pretty powerful at the same time. So when I was inside of there, I was like trying to figure out how to determine whether or not there's an array there. And if I know that there's an array there, I can maybe decide somehow whether or not it's an actual render array or not. But at least if I can find if it's an array, then I can just wrap that in a class, kind of like Twig reference is doing. But I don't have to like actually deal with the fact that it's a reference and unwrap it and all that kind of stuff. The slow part.
Right.
And then I think on this patch I just totally ripped it out just to see if I can get something working. And I got the installer to like go through the installer, and I'm like, oh sweet, that's good enough. Let's post this patch. But
like how did things look locally?
It looked like once I put this patch in there, you can do the installer and it looks fine. But a big,
I guess
huge
I should
problem,
just try it and see.
Yeah, the big, huge problem that I found while doing this, that's actually a huge, huge bug, is that raw does not actually work right now. The way we have Drupal set up here, raw does not do anything. Autoscape on, you try to do some print raw out, it escapes it still. And it's because like the reason why it's doing this is because we have Twig reference put before the escaper, and something the way that it's being built out, it treats it differently, and it's treating it as not safe, and therefore it escapes it automatically and doesn't take into account the filter at all, the raw filter. So right now, the way that it's set up in Drupal, you cannot use the pipe raw on the Twig template. It just doesn't do anything.
Yep. So that's but I thought you said your patch ripped out Twig reference.
I did. That's why it works now.
Okay.
I have a bunch of raws in there too in that patch. So.
Yeah, that's because I was just kind of skimming through it and I saw that. Cool.
I wanted to make sure that
that's
works.
Awesome.
I was like, okay, if I can use raw, then I can kind of like at the very least, I know that's like this is kind of the opposite of what we did before escaping, but like I know that thing is safe, so I can make it raw instead of escaping it. So it's the reverse of escaping things that you know are unsafe. You unescape things that are safe.
So are you basically talking about creating a node visitor to handle render arrays? Is that sort of what you were saying earlier?
Because we don't want to deal with them. We still want the render arrays to call render on its own and not have to deal with them in code, right?
Because like that's what Twig render var is doing right now, isn't it?
Yep.
But it's not clear to me how that's kind of called. Is that from Twig reference?
It's from node visitors, and
I guess I should just
node visitors builds the Twig, finds out whether or not it's an array or a bunch of other things, and then it
right, because we already have a node
calls
visitor.
it as a reference, wraps it as a node reference, and then when it's actually being printed, it says, okay, you are a Twig reference, and so I should not, render it or not, or whatever.
So basically, we already have a node visitor, and so we would basically just have to modify that. Is that what I'm getting? Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I
Cool.
did in this patch, but I poorly did it because it doesn't actually really work.
Okay, cool.
I don't really know enough about the nodes. These are not Drupal nodes; these are Twig nodes. I don't know
Yeah.
how those nodes, like what they are. There's like node expression and node print something. And I just don't understand them enough right now to figure out like how I can find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that I can.
I believe in
And,
you.
yeah, it took a long time to figure out like how that stuff all magically worked together, but
Yeah.
I was happy that I was like I just felt happy that I was deleting a bunch of things. So that kind of like the
Yeah, your diff stat's probably pretty good. Oh yeah. 104 insertions, 694 deletions.
yeah,
Nice.
so a bunch of deletions. It was
That's a
mostly
good one.
class deletions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool, that sounds awesome.
I'm hoping that if we had that removed, it removes a lot of logic. It removes a lot of things that are slow, and but
yeah.
I don't know if it'll work yet. So it's kind of
Well, yeah, it'll probably needs. The thing is, like, I think it's once we get this working, I agree that it should be pretty beneficial. Thanks for working on that.
I'm just scared I'm going too far down a rabbit hole that I won't be able to get out of.
I don't know. It sounds to me like you're on the right track, and basically, as long as we're consistent.
And I was pinging people like, "Do we even need this?" And I was talking to people in Symphony channel, and they're like,
Okay.
"Yeah, it's a no-brainer. You should be using it." But then at the same time, I was looking at other projects, and they
Oh, Autoscape, you mean?
yeah, Autoscape.
Yeah.
I was looking at the other projects, and Autoscape is turned off by default on usually CMSs. Seems from what my cursory look at it is like CMSs look like they turn it off, and then frameworks turn it on. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's kind of like we're in the same boat as the CMSs right now, but we're trying to go more like the way that the frameworks are set up.
Yeah.
Because you have to know what's coming in to know what, like you have to know what's coming into the template to know how I can make it what to do with it, like mark it as safe. I need to know what's coming in so I can mark it as safe. And right now, I have no idea how to tell what that thing is that I'm trying to print.
Yeah.
But it is about printing, and it is about like when I'm printing it, I want to know if it's a renderable array. And I might have to do that for filters too. If it's calling a filter on something, I might have to do the exact same thing, because if it's calling a filter on a renderable array, it also has to render it. You know?
Oh, yes.
So,
Yeah.
so not just printing it. If you're filtering something that's a render array, you want to be able to have the string, I would assume. Maybe.
I guess except in the case of the without filter.
Yeah. So maybe not, because at the same time, you're getting a bunch of HTML back, right? So you probably don't want to be uppercasing your entire HTML or something. So don't treat it as a string, I guess. It should be treated as an object until printed.
Yeah, I
So,
think if you need to manipulate it as a string, you would need to use a set and set it as a variable first to basically create a variable in the Twig template that is a string.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so yeah, you're rendering it out. So maybe if it's... Oh no, so you might still want to have that as an object until you actually print it though.
Yeah, so you would still have the original variable
Just kind of thinking of like that second sidebar or something like that. If we need to check to see if it's empty, we need to print it out. So I'm just kind of thinking ahead a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
But if that could be solved at the same time, that would be nice.
Yeah, we need to be able to determine if it'll result in printing something, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
I was also thinking of coming up with a Twig, instead of calling a Twig reference, instead of actually being a reference, just coming up another function name like Twig renderable array or renderable array class, and then it just because we need to, yeah, because we might not need it because we have Twig render var. But if we didn't have to use Twig render var and we just wrapped it in something that had a toString, then that's all it needed to do, and the toString would call the render, and that would be the end of it.
Okay.
It would simplify the code a little bit, and you don't have that extra function in there. I think the function's in there just for. It's kind of weird because that function's in there, render_var. You can actually use it in your Twig template to like render arrays.
Yep.
Which I don't see a point in doing.
Well, there's it's exposed. Like if you go into the Twig extension, it's exposing rendervar, which is just exposing Twig rendervar.
Yeah, I think it's only exposed for node visitor though. I don't think it's exposed for anything useful. That's why I'm thinking it doesn't need to be there.
I remember at a certain point, like early on in the template conversions, there was some render vars in them, but then at a certain point it was like, wait a minute, like this is sort of regressing, like why don't we just, print it and then make it, just use the, basically use Twig render var, or use however it's doing it, use the node visitor to determine
so it
how
does
it needs to be printed.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that it does that, but I think that you don't actually need a special function called for that. I think you can wrap it into an object.
Sure, yeah.
And you wouldn't, because it's wrapping it into an object already. It's wrapping it into a Twig node or something.
Okay.
And if you have an extension on the Twig node that did what it needs to do for Twig rendervar, then you don't actually have to call the function too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can. That would be a different issue though, right?
Might be this one.
Okay.
Might be this one. I'm trying to take steps so I won't do that right away because I did a lot of crazy removals and stuff like that. But I might be able to do it in this one if I can get things a little farther along.
Well, yeah. Like if we can, I'd almost prefer it to be separate, and then we can even profile that on its own to see, what the impact is.
Probably. Well, I don't think if it works, you probably don't need to profile because you're removing an extra. You're removing an extra function call and an extra class. So I think you would probably.
Right. So no, I'm not saying it's going to make it. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to make it slower. I'm just saying, it would be nice.
It might help this one make it. It might help this one to make it faster. I don't know if we could separate those two.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, okay, I'm not totally sure if you can separate them. I have to figure out how node visitor works a little bit more. If you look at Fabian's node visitor one, the first line on his node visitor issue is like, I finally figured out how node visitor works. It's like, I need to get there.
Yeah.
I need to get that point. I need to get that wow moment of, what the hell? Oh, that's how it works. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the end of that story.
Cool. Well, that's awesome because it sounds like auto escape is sort of connecting all these other issues, so that's great.
Yeah, and the biggest problem is that I found that bug where you can't use raw. I was like, why isn't raw working? And then I realized, it was because of Twig reference, the way that it's set up, it's causing some issues. Might be solvable, actually.
So yeah, I did.
It's still a problem.
Cool. Well, good luck. Yeah. Keep us posted. I did, by the way, move up auto escape into this kind of what I'm calling priority issues, kind of at the top here.
Cool. Because everybody wants.
So, and it was sort of down in the kind of lower priority stuff. So.
Chicks is really happy to see it actually making some progress.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's like, yes, somebody's doing something.
Yeah, finally. Well, it's just like
I still call for a running trolling on chicks on that because it's just fun to see him go ape shit when you ignore it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got other stuff to worry about now. He's on migrate.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. He's distracted a little bit.
I'm gonna see if I can get some people to help him out on migrate too on that sprint next.
Yeah, it's kind of, I've been sort of really loosely monitoring, but it looks really cool.
They're doing lots and lots of work. It's surprising how much crazy testing and stuff that they have in there.
For sure. So, okay, what else? Drupal render should check that whole render children one, which is there. I don't really have any news on that one. Themes improperly check renderable arrays when determining visibility. We talked about that a little bit last week, and I still think our kind of game plan for that is good, but it's just sort of like finding someone to work on it or finding the time. I think so. Anyway, we do need to solve that, and I do need to create the issue so that we get the Twig debug HTML, like the Twig debug output for markup that's coming from a theme function, but can be overridden by a template. So like fields are probably the best example. So even if the markup is coming from theme function, we can still add Twig debug output so that we can tell you you can we can tell you can use this Twig template to override this field, because right now there's really no way of finding that out unless you really unless you basically know the theme system. There's no way of getting to theme field and then from there getting to
not having a theme system where you need to know everything and happen.
Exactly.
To actually figure out what's going on.
Yeah, if you turn Twig debug on and you get to see what's happening, like where things are at, then that's nice. Let's implement Devel Themer into.
As it stands now, it looks like we need to.
Yeah, I haven't talked with Fubu since he showed me that.
Well, that's basically what we have.
Yeah, the demo. So I'm gonna hopefully in the next couple of days. I'm in a pretty crazy deadline rush to get a project out the door before I go to. So my next week and a half is gonna be stressful, but I'm gonna see if I can get an answer out of him where we're at with the project on for the next meeting. Just to see if we should find somebody else to go on that part. Because it's it's the usual answer I get from everybody I talk with, which is like, "Yo, hey, come and play with themes," and they're like, "Well, if D8 is so unstable that every time you get code down, everything explodes, it's kind of makes theme development or testing themes a pain in the ass unless you're really into development, and if you cannot see what goes on, that makes it even worse. So it's kind of a double blocker." Which remind me, do we have any idea when we can expect? I'm not expecting a stable, but at least stable enough. So every time you update the code, you don't have to run an installer and everything. Do we have any idea if that's going to happen within a reasonable amount of time?
I don't know time-wise, but my best guess would be beta, the first beta.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a bunch of I know there's a bunch of API changes and stuff that are basically, once those are done, then they'll cut a beta.
Yeah. No,
that's kind of hopefully at that point, then it'll be, you won't have to reinstall after you get full.
Yeah, it's mainly the whole issue about getting data in to actually have something to work with, which is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I feel like I get tackled.
Well, I think I'm not sure I'm really not sure how far migrate is, but it seems like with migrate and core, it would be really cool if you could kind of use that as a way to, even if you have to reinstall, you could re-migrate a bunch of data. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
From a Drupal 6 and Drupal 7 site, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that to get people running, because anyways, I was
that's good.
At the list, are we thinking at this point in any ways around the old Drupal pain in the ass over them all, the theme menu, or is just part of? Is that a thing we're probably gonna put over to a post launch, or what's the plan there?
You mean? I'm not sure. Which issue is that?
I was looking around to figure out who there was. Damn it, 1,000 windows.
I kind of think I know which one you're talking about, but
Yeah, it was just this was one of them I found. I've been poking around.
and
to
I
see.
think if it's the one I'm thinking of, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, or basically just cleaning up the menu. There's
so
a couple of them. Is that
right.
one?
Okay, so for this one, we probably are kind of waiting for Prepare to get in so that we can do pre-processing for them, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it was. I mean, it's one of those things that we're probably not going to think about until it's too late, and then we're standing with the same shitty menu system as always.
Yeah.
The problem
I
is
think
that
like people can still work on it.
yeah.
I was gonna say though, like it might make sense to push forward with the Twig conversions because there is an issue to just convert those theme functions to Twig, and then at least that way they're in Twig. And I've found it's easier to kind of consolidate them when they're in Twig as opposed to theme functions.
Yeah.
So let me just paste that in. Because, well, we kind of did it at the same time for the toolbar module, which is not necessarily a big theming target, but for toolbar module, for performance reasons and for basically making it simpler, we ended up taking like the really granular, like there was like I'm pretty sure there was a theme function for like a toolbar tab, and like it was really, really small, like chunks, and we ended up making it into just one template for your whole toolbar.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah. I mean, I think for menu would be a lot more ambitious to try and do both at once, but I'm not sure if there's been profiling on this yet. We might have to.
Yeah.
So that the Twig conversion issue potentially could supersede this other issue with the theme suggestions, but yeah. Well, actually, no, not this one, because this one is just like different variations on the menu. So this still would have to use suggestions, I think. Yeah. But anyway, I still think that moving that Twig conversion forward would sort of help kind of unblock that other issue.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It's just one of those things that I've been hanging in the back of my head for a long time. Like, let's hope that we don't end up with that piece of paper. I was just, and again had a Drupal 7 site where I had to theme a menu, and I want to stab myself.
Yep. Yeah, I actually posted on that issue. I actually posted on it because I had to do the same thing. I had to override like a menu tree, and it was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
But
I'm totally with you.
Yeah. Okay. I was just. So it's turning about 2 o'clock, and I need to get up in like 5 hours.
All right. I think we're probably winding down soon anyway. But thanks for coming, man.
No, I was just thinking, do you, Carter, now have a pretty good overview of everything that goes on, right?
I like to think so.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, because my brain kind of got completely derailed over Christmas or December.
I think I kind of got back on board over that time, so I think we're good.
I was so I was like, where's what at? I added to the document the events I know that I'm gonna be at in 2004.
Okay, cool.
Drupal South and London and Stockholm. I'm speaking on Twig in Drupal South, so I'm probably also to get the latest of where we're at and what we can. I kind of want to make sure that people don't expect, or we can maybe do some what we call figuring out what we're actually going to get into Drupal 8, what we're not going to get in, so people get an idea of it. And I would think it would be pretty sweet if we could. I'm going to talk with the guys in Drupal South and figure out. We probably think they're going to have a sprint down there, and just finding like 2 or 3 things and say, okay, that's the thing we're gonna work on and get something out the door, instead of getting 10 people in on something and then we sit and discuss that for X amount of hours and at the end nothing gets out of it. That's kind of and the same thing with I'm pretty sure London is going to have a sprint. I know Stockholm, we are going to set a sprint up anyways. Me and Ruben is going to do that. Nice. We just need to know who and where and what.
And you're going to be at Dev Days too.
Yeah, I need to figure out if I'm actually going to go down there. My problem is that it's probably like a 6 to 7 hour travel time with flying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
can be a complete bitch. And if I'm only going to do that for the weekend, that's going to be like 14 hours. Yeah, 14 hours flying. That's not so much just flying and then get a train and then get from the train to this place and Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we're keeping. I hope we're keeping these dates, right? Or keeping this meeting date on Thursdays.
I think so. Yeah. It it at least works for us three. It works for Ruben. Ruben came in last week.
Yeah.
And Jen was talking about coming in, so maybe we can get Jen in on
these. So and my daughter sleeps like a stone anyway, so she just put us around 7:38, and she's out dead cold after 20 minutes bedtime stories. So it's not an issue for me. So it works out good. Cool. And it's getting new people in is a pain in the ass. It's kind of like we need a bigger whip or something.
If we need to go back an hour, I can probably still do that too. If that means more people will join the meetup.
It doesn't. If it's 12:01, I'm probably up at that point anyways. Unless if I'm flying out the next morning, because then I'm gonna be up at like 6 to get daughter out, and so I can get back to the airport. I get so sad.
If you want to do like 3:30 or 3 o'clock, we can do that if it helps at all. We want to try to get as many people in here as possible.
Yeah, well, I would rather have the people that we know is going to be in here, and this time seems like we can get more people at it. It works better instead of trying to set up and people not showing up. It's that's just how it is. Don't know how I'm done. All right, guys, but I'm gonna hit to bed.
Good night.
Cool.
All right. So, see if how do I close?
Thanks for joining us.
God damn it, Google Hangouts. How come? I remember when stuff was an app instead of all this web stuff. Browse like crap. All right, boys. But talk with you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Sounds good. See you morning.
See ya.
Okie dokie. What are we at?
So where were we?
On the
theme? The item.alt.
Oh, where? Oh yeah. Okay. What's that about? Oh yeah, Twig syntax, getting them.
And,
because
from what
everything's
so it's
renderable arrays or renderable arrays.
They're ugly, yeah. So it's basically, and from what Fabian was saying in IRC the one day, it's basically that would be probably another node visitor to make that a reality. So probably similar to what you were talking about, where it's almost like checking to see.
Yeah. If I made a renderable array type function, or renderable array type class that basically just has a toString, you could also have some manipulators in there so that it change the syntax. So you could have like a magic getter that it's like, oh, you have this property, therefore make it into this and grab it. Maybe that might be a possibility. I'm not totally sure, but
I like. So because
as I mentioned,
what's that?
Object-oriented coding solves everything.
Oh yeah, right. Cool. So yeah. Anyway, I like. That's We'll see what happens with that one. I kind of think it's a cool idea. Because it makes render arrays slightly less crappy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and then removing calls to theme. There was actually some activity on one of those recently. So, but anyway, that's so close to being done. So I'm kind of worried about it. Like it'll get done.
Yeah, it was.
Uh,
I made a mention to that on your refactor themed underscore theme because yeah, we didn't do any
okay. Yeah,
conversions there.
yeah,
You just did replacements. So I was like, yeah, we should definitely make sure we do those, but not in
yeah,
this issue because not in
yeah.
the issue for that because it'll. There's some of them are hard. Some of them
It-
are definitely much harder, and the rename is a lot easier. So I wouldn't want to put that on
Yeah,
because it'll
and
take forever.
there's only a couple left, so it's really not such a big deal.
And some of them are already converted in some of our other issues, anyways. So the rerolls on those ones will be pretty simple.
Right. And then our favorite 550 is I don't know, it's doing well. I need to do another quick review on your forum cleanup.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at that
Uh,
one a bit.
yeah,
Forum
it's
consolidation
I'll
stuff.
post in the chat. Um,
Excuse me.
I actually did some profiling on it too, and it's not out of this world, but it's a nice little performance boost all around.
Good.
It's
Yeah, it should
it was
be.
like 1.6 milliseconds or something.
We didn't use
So
type table on that
or
one. We used theme table, right?
1.6.
Yeah, we used theme
Yeah,
table,
it's
not type table.
1.6 seconds or I don't know, not seconds. Anyway, it's faster.
Milliseconds, probably. um, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not.
That one has a lot of like removal stuff in there, so it should help. There's more removals than there is additions.
I think it's just yeah, it's just good cleanup overall, I think. It's sort of more proof that consolidating is good and will help us.
For that one, do we
Brings us to consolidating.
that one I
Sorry?
just I did the changes that you requested, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
just
it
have to kind
should
of
be
look
good
over it
for like
again.
another
But
review.
your latest, I profiled your latest patch.
Oh, cool. Good.
Yeah, so we're good there. I just need to kind of give it another once over, and then I'll post the profiling and probably RTBC it.
Nice.
So yeah, consolidating theme functions, properly use theme suggestions. That's sort of postponed on prepare. So yes, prepare. Variable inspector contrib. Like I think it's probably going to be contrib.
Is that the one that Sebastian was presenting something about?
That's the thing. So that's kind of yeah, like people are working on it. So I'm going to actually move that to our post launch because I think it's probably better that it would live in contrib anyway, especially because we don't really have anything that we can ship. It's we're trying to get to a beta, so
Yeah.
it's
So it's
basically
a feature.
that will be more like a
To
develop
have.
themer. Yeah, yeah.
Not required.
Okay, so and then dream markup. I did specifically at the start where I was talking about the open sourcery folks first printing. I did specifically highlight dream markup because I know there hasn't been a ton of activity on those recently that I know of. So
That's the one I would love to
I
get to.
highlighted that as
I can get out of some of this stuff. But I don't want to start fixing the
yeah,
markup when I'm still fixing whether or not it's inside of a function or something. But
yeah, totally.
that's the dream markup is on the top of my list of things that I want to do. And also the one big one on there, not just in dream markup, but one big thing is the maintenance page stuff. The way that it's built out, it's like different from a regular theme, but using the same names, which is really confusing. So you see HTML markup in the page template.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yeah. That's a good point because there's still that issue open about combining HTML Twig with page HTML Twig.
Oh yeah. I
I
don't
think
know if
more
that's. Yeah, I think there was some suggestion that that might be helpful, and I was kind of considering that one too, but um, I'm not totally sure. I need to do it. I would love to do it like a test to see whether or not you can split them easily. So
What do
meaning,
you mean?
the way that I was thinking at the con when we were talking about that one at that BOF was that you would be able to like use not an include a wrapper or something like that.
Whoops.
Crap, I can't remember.
I don't know. I pasted the issue into the chat, so I'll add it to the agenda too, just so we can kind of keep it here.
Look it up, Twig extend or something.
But it's basically, yeah, I think we would use, I don't know if we need to get that complicated. I think like
just for
you
an
would just
example,
use the template.
because some
I
people
think
want to
wouldn't you
use
just use the like,
you know, some people want to use the like a generic one for everything, and then some people might want to split out like the way that we have it with page/HTML. So the idea is to use a base template.
yeah, I think you would just use the template inheritance, like create a block,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or
Exactly. Yeah. So you create a block and then you'd use the base. The only thing the reason why I'm kind of hesitant on that one is because we need to totally make the Twig file system loader to be smarter about knowing where it is, because right now it knows where the root of Drupal is, and I think that's about it.
Oh yeah, so there's another issue for that too. Thanks for mentioning that. Where is that?
So it has no idea where modules are. And there's this cool thing that Daviner was talking about when you remember that a couple of days ago when he was asking me questions. There's a bundle thing with Twig that I never seen where you can put like an @ and then the bundle name. If modules were bundles, I don't know if they're going to be or are or whatever, but if they were, then you would have a reference to that by the bundle name.
It's basically, this is a very, like, coming from Symfony, this is very common. And the problem is there's about 3 different people working on implementing this.
Okay.
But there's someone doing it in core. I just need to find the issue again. But yeah, I think we should definitely have that so that you can basically, override templates from like a base theme more easily, and you're not tied to the path basically.
Or if you wanted to use if you were using a base Twig template, maybe another theme or another module actually had that template in it, so that you just extend that one instead of having to copy it into your theme or something.
Totally.
Excuse me.
So anyway, I need to find that issue. I think it's probably not on this. Anyway, yeah, I'll find that issue and add it because I think that's going to be a big help.
Yeah, where to look.
And then I'm probably safe to skip the post-launch stuff. It's there. Sprint's coming up, which will be not this weekend, but next weekend's Global Sprint Weekend, so that's pretty awesome. I don't think my sprint will be exclusively Twig or anything, but I always try and sneak in as much as I can. I'm
just bringing in anybody that doesn't have anything to do either in that one or help out with chicks with migrate.
Cool.
So if they don't know what they're doing, that's what they're going on. If they do, then then they're going on their own.
Oh, I think this might be it. I think I might have found the issue. Yep, this looks like it. Yep. Okay, so I'll paste this in the chat so you can take a look. Oh, there we go. It's kind of annoying because I see. The chat always looks like it kind of has focus because it has that blue outline around it. Anyway, nitpicky. So let's see. I'm just going to add this kind of just so we have it in this agenda. It is filed as a feature request, but we might be able to, if we talk to a core maintainer, like I'm thinking like WebChick might agree that this is enough of a kind of DX win, that it's a task, but we'll see.
Yeah, the add modules and theme names to Twig namespaces would be excuse me, would be awesome. And that's what other people use too. I just don't know how it works. I don't know the magic behind it, but I think you need to have like Symfony module bundles type thing for your actual modules.
Yeah, the patches on the issue are like tiny, so I don't know. I haven't actually tested it to see if it works, but yeah, the patches are like less than a kilobyte. So, and actually, now that I'm looking at this again, I'm kind of wondering if we don't automatically add the /templates, could we use this for getting assets like CSS, not CSS, but like images, assets, and stuff from a template? You know how you were talking about?
Yeah, that might help too.
Because then it would be, I don't know if that's kind of, I don't know. I think that would work. I don't know about you, but basically instead of using like path to theme, you would just use @theme name.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that kind of simplifies.
But I don't know if you would have to like concatenate it with a string or something. I'm not sure how it would work.
Probably. Concatenation in Twig is kind of weird, eh?
Yeah, use the tilde. Yeah, it is a little weird, but it works.
Yeah. Roughly put these together.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
That's no more weird than a period, I guess.
That's true. All right. Anything else?
Nope, not on this way.
Happy birthday, Drupal, I guess.
Yeah, happy birthday, Drupal. 13, you're a teenager.
13. Yep. So
causing trouble now.
Yep.
I think the biggest ones I would like to try to kind of concentrate on right now, anyways, is these kind of auto escape, Twig reference, whatever I can, because there's nobody else doing those ones, and Fabian's not around on those ones, so just trying. I'm stabbing at them wildly and see what happens.
Yeah, I think you're getting good results so far so keep stabbing.
Yeah, it took quite a bit of my time yesterday. It was like till midnight or something, from like 5 after work till midnight.
Yeah.
To get where I was, and I'm like, okay, I give up now. But I would like to know a little bit more about how the Twig engine works. So I'm glad I'm using the debugger, and also I was playing. Well, part of that issue was I was playing with getting a Vagrant box together so that I could actually maybe bring that to Sprint.
Cool.
Using that PHP Puppet.
Yeah, Puppet.
Yeah, Puppet. That one I was talking to the developer on that one, and we fixed a bug with it because Drush was causing issues with Git or something. So,
Drush, Git.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out what the problem is, and I saw some people from the Drupal community like complaining that Puppet doesn't actually work for installing things. It's like, it's exactly because of this issue. It would work if you try to use CentOS, and it wouldn't work if you use anything else. So that's that's the issue. Anyways, so I would love to have something where I could just give a USB key to somebody at the Sprint with the Git repo on it, and a Puppet whatever Vagrant up thing, and then that way I don't have to do as much of environment setup if they come without that.
Right, and then they just need to download like VirtualBox, is it, or?
Yeah, and if they wanted to help out with that PHP 5.4/5.3 related thing, that would probably help. Yeah, just need VirtualBox. It's free, so.
Yeah.
VirtualBox, Vagrant, and Puppet is just Puppet, so it just builds a Puppet file for you.
Cool.
So saves you from learning the Puppet syntax. But it's cool because it has everything on there. It even has XHProf and Xdebug and Drush and
cool.
And there's some other magic too. I think it actually works really well with PHP Storm. There's supposed to be like a Vagrant up in PHP Storm. I haven't tried it yet, but that was in their demo of what's new in PHP Storm 7.
Cool.
So that would be an interesting thing if I could get it done in time, but otherwise I'm just hoping everybody has their environment set up.
Right on. Well, I guess, do you want to wrap this up?
Yep.
Cool.
Done.
All right. Until next week.
Cheers. See ya.